this question. Do you actually think that they're good again, or is this kind of like, it's the same thing? They're getting a couple luckier bounces. Maybe some pucks aren't going in that would have went in earlier. Is it just Matthews coming back? We'll talk about Matthews in a bit. But Jacob, I don't know, like you were about to say something about their last 10, and you go ahead with the stat, and you let me know, like, do you actually think that they're good? They're a good team again or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think they still have flaws, obviously. I don't think they're fully back, I guess. But I think December was a better month for them, and they've had a really strong start to January so far. And what I really hope is that October, November was the outlier here and not their recent play, because this is a good team. I think we all know, looking at the roster and watching them play when they're on, that's a good team. But what I highlighted if anyone out there listening, go back and you watch the video on Instagram I did for the Detroit game, where I basically just said they lost that game 3-2 in overtime. Basically all I said was they played a really good game, they did really well, but ultimately they lost doing what they've been doing all season, which is not defending the rush well enough and getting hemmed in their zone a little bit too easily. And last night against Florida, there was one play in the first period, I think, where they got hemmed in their zone, and I think Ekman Larson was able to just relieve the pressure at a puck. I think it ended up going to icing. I don't know what my point is with that.
Well, you're talking about how they get pinned easily, right? So
yeah. So I think but you get it out, but you still ice the puck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They're doing better. A lot of that has to do with Austin Matthews' resurgence, and I think that maybe what we're seeing is that kind of lighting a fire under the team. I mean, obviously he's the captain. He's kind of the centerpiece of that team. So when he's on, I think that kind of brings everyone up, especially since he just broke a pretty substantial record.
Yeah. So what you had that stat in the last 10? Do you still have that up? Because that was something I kind of want.
I know in their last 7, they're 5-0-2. They're on a 7-game point streak, which is.
I think Myrtle had a longer kind of stretch of hockey with the record out, and it's just it's not perfect hockey. I think we're still seeing some of the old issues at times, but I do think that they're cleaning some. James Rose says, yeah, go ahead.
5-3-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, and in their last 20, Myrtle says they're 11-5-4, which is 7th in the NHL. And I think really, I think what we're seeing, Jacob, I agree with you that they're still flawed, and I don't think they're all the way back, as we like to say. But I think they're doing a lot of things better, though. I think you're seeing guys perform better. Michelli has been one of the guys who's really. I was all the way out on Michelli, and I think I'd prefer for him to stick around now, because it looks like he's playing the way I would have wanted him to play at the start of the season. A lot of people were like, "Oh, he's always been this good," and I'm like, "Well, no, I don't think so. I think he was overcomplicating his game at the start of the year." And he tried, not even that he tried to, I think he tried to make stuff happen, and sometimes there's nothing to make happen, and he tried to make stuff happen, and when that happens, majority of the time you're losing the puck and it goes back the other way, and I think we saw that a lot from Michelli early. I think he's simplified his game a lot, and we're seeing him play in the top 6 now, where he's a very effective player, and I think that you can't, I don't want to see him in the bottom 6, I think he's kind of a useless player in the bottom 6. I think we've come to that conclusion with a lot of guys where it's just, and Nick Robertson I think would be the outlier in this, because I think he's kind of found his way into a role where he can't play in the bottom 6. But I think with Michelli, you want him in those offensive scenarios. You don't want him having to play a grinding style of game. I think you want him to be able to show the skill that he has and the passing ability that he has. It's great. He has good hands too. So I've liked him, but I think that you are getting performances from guys who weren't performing. I think you're a little bit tighter defensively. It's still not great, like you said, Jacob. It's still like that game against Detroit. You're right, some of the goals that they allow just not enough. I think overall at the end of that game, it's a hill to be play where he just tries. I think it's more of a bad bounce than anything. Matthews is backpedaling. We're expecting that puck to come out a little bit harder and get to his tape. We don't need to go over that whole game again, but I think they're doing a lot of things better. I don't think they're great. I think we are still having the injury issues, and I've kind of given up on this, thinking like, oh, they're gonna get healthy. I don't think they will. Sometimes you just have these seasons where it just kind of is what it is, and we'll get to the injury list here soon. But yeah, I think they're playing a better game. I think they're playing a more solid game, and I think we've seen kind of a shift in the way that they want to play. I'm seeing a little bit less dump and chase, and I think the coaching staff kind of came to that realization that, okay, this isn't working. We have to try to change something up, and I don't know if the numbers have backed it up, but I just feel like there's a little bit more puck possession when trying to enter the zone. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that either. Jacob, you're shaking your head, so I'm assuming that you've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, like the goal last night, like I mentioned earlier, Cowan's goal, like that's just a prime example of that. You just on the rush and a beautiful passing play. Just that's like a perfect execution of that, though. You're not going to get that every time, you know. But yeah, it's been better anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're trying to change the style a little bit, and they needed to. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you got to try something, like you're kind of stuck with the roster you have right now, because I don't think they don't really have the assets to make a significant move to really add. So it's just kind of like trying to make the best of what you actually have. But yeah, I think they're playing a better game. I think I'm impressed with them. And the one thing that I'd say is that if they're able to keep playing like this, when you look at the landscape in the Eastern Conference, and this could change over time, like sometimes teams just separate, but right now there's nobody there that really scares me all that much. Like, I don't know. Like you look at the top, you look at the Metro, it's like Carolina. Like Carolina's goaltending is so like Bussy had a good was a good story, and now it's just kind of like, well, I don't know. Like, he's not actually a real starting goalie you want to go through a playoff run with. Kochetkov is going to be out for the year. Freddie, it's like, what do you get for Freddie? Or what do you get in Freddie when he goes out there? You don't really know. Like, it's kind of a wild card to toss up with Freddie. You look, and then you like Philly. Are you scared of Philly? I don't know if I'm scared of Philly. They've been a nice story. I don't think I'm scared of Philly. Are you scared of the Islanders? Nice story. I don't know if I'm. Like maybe they might be a force again, but
it's just so tight that like
yeah,
every team's kind of. It feels like every team's kind of on an even playing field right now. Besides maybe like Tampa, who are just on a different level right now. But I mean, everybody's so even. Like the season could still go anyway.
Yeah, I'm not even convinced. Like teams like the Islanders and Flyers are gonna make it. They're still. We're only halfway through the season here. Like
one losing streak and they're out.
100%. Look at Buffalo.
The reason I bring
10 straight and they're not in the playoff spot. Like.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this because I had this conversation with my friend, my buddy. He asked me, he's like, do you think they'll make the cup final? Like, just like we're having that random conversation. And the answer is probably no, but I'm like, I mean, I don't know. Like, if you round into four, you get some guys back, I don't know. I don't think there's a super team in the East. Like, I might have thought there has been in past years where you look at Florida, if they get in, I mean, they're going to be dangerous either way, but like, they're going to have to be cap compliant with Barkov coming back. So it's not like it's just a simple mix, like just slot him in again. I think they'd have to make a move. I'm pretty sure if they want to be cap compliant. They've played tons of hockey over the last little bit. Like, maybe it's just Bobrovsky hasn't been great this season. I think there's like, you don't know. Like, sometimes you play so much hockey that you're just done. And I think we saw with Tampa and with where you play tons of hockey, you still make the playoffs, but you go into that first round and another team just has a little bit more juice than you, and you can't do it anymore. And it was the Leafs against Tampa where someone finally beats them, and it's the Leafs in the first round where they beat them in 6, and then they go and get spanked against Florida in the first round the year after, and it's not the same. So maybe they've played a little too much hockey. We'll see. They're gonna get to Chuck back here soon. But yeah, I don't know if I think they're better, the Leafs, but I'm also looking around the East and I'm like, I don't know who really scares me all that much. Like Detroit, like, I don't know, do I trust John Gibson, like that old tandem? Yeah. Do I trust Jan Grosser to go on a deep playoff run? I don't know. And listen, the Leafs might not even make the playoffs at the end of the day. It's so tight, like you guys were saying, but
yeah, I mean, I had to reality check myself just probably today this was where, I was feeling good. Leafs have been good over the last couple of games, coming off a big win against Florida. They're not in the playoff spot, which is crazy because their record suggests that they should at least be in a wild card spot right now.
Well, they'd be first in the Pacific, right? Like that. Like that's
I think-
that's insane.
Yeah, it's
We should talk
now
about Vegas
now
at some point. But
Yeah.
Vegas is at 48 points now, so they wouldn't be. But I think
12
Vegas,
overtime losses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're on a
I hate
skid,
this
but,
league.
Yeah.